Welcome back, wrestling WWE fans, to a story that will break your heart and shake the very core of the bloodline. Imagine Zilla Fatu, the son of the legendary Umaga, standing alone in a dimly lit locker room, his voice trembling as he utters the words that sent shockwaves through WWE, "I'm literally losing everything." This wasn't a scripted promo. This was a raw, gut-wrenching confession, a bombshell that exposed the pain, betrayal, and grief tearing at the Anoa'i family. The air was thick with tension that night on Raw, the kind that makes your chest tighten. Zilla, a third-generation star carrying the weight of his father's legacy, had been a beacon of hope for the bloodline. But behind his fierce exterior, the man was crumbling. His words weren't just a cry for help, they were a window into a soul battered by loss, scandal, and the unrelenting pressure of his family's name. It started weeks ago, when whispers of Zilla's struggles began leaking from the locker room. He'd joined WWE with fire in his eyes, trained by Booker T, driven by the memory of his father, Umaga, whose death in 2009 left a void that never healed. Zilla's journey was one of redemption, rising from a troubled past that included a 6-year prison sentence for robbery. But now, that redemption was slipping through his fingers. Please like, share and subscribe for more WWE content. Alright, we're halfway through, and things are about to take a serious turn. If you thought you knew where this was going, think again, this is where the real drama unfolds. Stay tuned, because the best is yet to come. The bloodline, once an unbreakable empire under Roman Reigns, was fracturing. Roman's leukemia battle, though in remission, cast a long shadow over his leadership. Jey Uso's departure, Jimmy's struggles with injury, and Solo Sikoa's rebellion had torn the family apart. Zilla, the newest member, was caught in the crossfire, his loyalty to Roman pulling him into a war he wasn't ready for. Backstage, the dynamics were brutal. Wrestlers whispered about Zilla's intensity, his refusal to play politics. Some admired his raw talent, others saw him as a liability, haunted by his past. A recent scandal in GCW, where Zilla parted ways amid accusations of unprofessionalism, followed him to WWE. The dirt sheets feasted, painting him as a loose cannon, but those who knew him saw the truth. He was a man fighting to prove he was more than his mistakes. That night, Zilla's bombshell came after a grueling match against Dominic Mysterio. The crowd roared as Zilla unleashed a Samoan spike, a haunting tribute to Umaga, but his victory felt hollow. As the cameras cut away, he lingered in the ring, his shoulders slumped, his eyes distant. Backstage, he found a quiet corner, away from the chaos, and poured his heart out to a trusted crew member who caught it on tape. "I'm losing everything," Zilla said, his voice cracking. He spoke of his mother, still grieving Umaga, who'd clashed publicly with Rikishi over family support. The feud had exploded on social media, with Zilla's mother accusing Rikishi of abandoning her after Umaga's death. The pain of that family breakdown was a knife in Zilla's heart, a reminder that blood didn't always mean unity. He spoke of his own health struggles, a knee injury that had flared up, threatening his career before it could peak. The fear of being sidelined, of letting down his father's memory, was suffocating. Zilla's faith, found during his prison years, kept him grounded, but even that was tested as he faced the relentless grind of WWE's spotlight. The betrayal cut deepest. Zilla had idolized Roman, seeing him as the anchor of the Anoa'i legacy. But Roman's focus on his own empire left Zilla feeling like an outsider, a soldier in a war he didn't choose. Solo's defiance, aligning with Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga, felt like a personal rejection. Zilla had wanted to unite the family, but instead, he was caught in their crosshairs. The locker room was a pressure cooker. Veterans like Sami Zayn offered quiet support, while others, loyal to Solo's new bloodline, kept their distance. Paul Heyman, Roman's consigliere, saw Zilla's potential but warned him to pick a side. The advice stung. Zilla didn't want sides, he wanted family. But family, he was learning, was as fragile as it was fierce. The scandal of Zilla's past was a shadow he couldn't shake. Fans on X dug up old tweets, old interviews, painting him as reckless. Yet, those who'd seen him train under Booker T knew the truth. Zilla was a man reborn, his every match a testament to his growth. But the weight of public judgment, coupled with family drama, was crushing him. Grief was Zilla's constant companion. Umaga's death wasn't just a loss, it was a defining moment. Zilla was only a teenager when his father passed, and the years since had been a battle to honor him. Every Samoan spike, every roar, was for Umaga. But that night, as Zilla spoke, he admitted the grief was heavier than ever, a burden that made every step feel like wading through quicksand. The crew member who recorded Zilla's confession didn't leak it for clout, it was shared out of concern. By morning, the clip was everywhere, trending on X, fans reeling from the raw honesty. Some called it a breakdown, others saw it as strength, a man laying his soul bare. The WWE Universe, often quick to judge, paused, moved by the humanity behind the wrestler. Roman's reaction was telling. Sources say he watched the clip in silence, his face unreadable. Roman knew loss, his own health crisis, the passing of his cousin Bray Wyatt, the fracturing of the bloodline. He hadn't reached out to Zilla, not yet, but those close to him said he was shaken. The tribal chief was a fortress, but Zilla's words cracked his armor. Zilla's mother was another wound. Her public feud with Rikishi wasn't just about words, it was about years of unspoken pain, of feeling left behind after Umaga's death. Zilla, caught between loyalty to her and his cousins, felt like he was betraying both. He tried to bridge the gap, but the family's pride, their stubborn hearts, kept them apart. The health crisis wasn't just Zilla's knee. His mother's recent hospitalization, kept quiet until now, had rocked him. She'd been his rock through his prison years, his reason to fight. The thought of losing her was unbearable, a fear he hadn't shared until that night. "I can't lose her too," he whispered, his voice barely audible over the hum of the arena. Backstage dynamics were shifting. Wrestlers like Kevin Owens, who'd faced their own battles, reached out to Zilla, offering words of encouragement. But others, sensing weakness, circled like vultures. Solo's faction saw an opportunity, whispering to Zilla that Roman's empire was a sinking ship. The temptation to break away was there, but Zilla's heart was with the family, even if it was broken. The fans felt the weight of Zilla's words. On X, hashtags like #ZillaStrong trended alongside clips of his Samoan spike. They saw Umaga in his fury, but they saw Zilla in his pain. This wasn't kayfabe. This was a man fighting for his place, not just in WWE, but in the world. His vulnerability made him human, and the fans loved him for it. The bombshell wasn't just Zilla's words, it was what they revealed about the bloodline. Roman's empire was built on loyalty, but loyalty was cracking under the weight of grief and betrayal. Zilla's stand, his refusal to quit, was a spark in the darkness, a reminder that the Anoa'i legacy wasn't just about power, it was about heart. What does it mean to lose everything? For Zilla, it was losing his father, his family's unity, his health, his peace. But in that loss, he found something else, purpose. Every match, every moment, was a chance to honor Umaga, to rebuild what was broken. He wasn't just fighting opponents, he was fighting despair, and he was doing it for all of them. The locker room watched Zilla differently now. His bombshell wasn't weakness, it was courage. Wrestlers who doubted him saw a man who refused to be defined by scandal or setbacks. Roman, too, was watching, perhaps seeing in Zilla the brother he'd lost, the family he still fought for. The road ahead was uncertain, but Zilla's heart was clear. The Anoa'i family's saga is far from over. Zilla's words were a turning point, a call to heal or a warning of further fracture. Roman's silence, Solo's defiance, the fans' roars, all of it hangs in the balance. Zilla stands at the center, not just as Umaga's son, but as a man carving his own path through pain and pride. This isn't just wrestling, it's life, raw and unfiltered. Zilla Fatu's bombshell was a cry from the heart, a reminder that behind every superstar is a human, scarred and striving. His grief, his betrayal, his fight, they're ours too, in the moments when we feel we're losing everything. He showed us that even in the darkest nights, there's a spark of hope. WWE fans, let Zilla's story linger. It's a testament to love, for family, for legacy, for the fight that keeps us going. It's about loss, the kind that shapes us, and loyalty, the kind that holds us together even when it hurts. Zilla Fatu didn't just drop a bombshell, he lit a fire, one that burns for Umaga, for the bloodline, for every one of us who dares to keep fighting. Thank you for witnessing this moment. May it remind us to hold tight to what matters, to rise above our pain, and to carry our legacies forward, no matter how heavy the load.